Welcome to Healing Highs with Lara, where we talk about the highlights and serendipitous moments of our healing journeys. I'm your host, Lara, an international energy healer for animals and humans. Thank you for being here. I love sharing these stories with you. Hi, welcome. Thank you for being here. I'm so excited to be back with you. Thank you for listening and watching. I was supposed to have a guest this week and they had to postpone. And so I was like, oh, what am I going to talk about on the podcast? And then I realized I was having like a medical procedure, like super simple checkup kind of a thing. And I was like, oh, I can talk about that because, doctor's appointments, medical procedures, surgeries, there's a lot of things that I'll do before and after that for my clients, for me, that maybe you'll find interesting. So yeah, whenever even just a doctor's appointment, like a dentist appointment, I will bless the space before I get there. I'll clear the space. Um, so I feel better going in. It just supports it. And I was thinking like, well, there's times that didn't work out, but it wasn't, I think I didn't do that. I was like, maybe I have had rough doctor's appointments. And then I was like, well, I don't know that I did that every time. Like, I'm human, I forget. But most of the time, what I notice when I do this is it does change me, which changes like the energy, right? And then something else I noticed with everyday appointments, but mostly I've noticed it, but you could do it for anything, is if there's a medical assistant or like a nurse checking blood pressure and your pulse and doing all that, maybe they're not in the best like headspace or having a hard day. And, they're not being super, like they're just, like seeming frustrated. I'll imagine giving them a hug. And it is incredible every time I've done that, how it changes the energy. And they seem like calmer, relaxed, happier. If they leave the room, I'll do it. And they come back, they're a different person. It's so noticeable. I like do that all the time if I'm in those spaces, or I'll tell people to do that because it's significant how the shift happens. Like where you imagine hugging them, like your energy is like, okay, like we're doing this together. It's okay. We can energetically like hold space for each other in that way. So that's some things I do for kind of everyday appointments. Also, I'm so fortunate. I have a holistic dentist, and he muscle tests like anything that he gives me to see if it's safe for me, which is great because I grew up having an allergy to a common anesthetic, and it dentists, it's hard for them when they work on me with that. And so it was interesting because he blind muscle tested me for that, and then other ones that he could use on me. And muscle test wise, like we didn't know which one was which. Neither of us knew. And it tested that that was not good for me. And the other one that he was going to use was good for me. And then if they use like any products they're going to put in to your teeth, they'll test if that's going to be safe for you. So that I'm just so fortunate because once I'm there, it's like they're holding that type of space, and that's really helpful. But when I've had like any type of like little procedures done or even like a surgery, unfortunately, I've been fortunate to only have like 2 or 3 things like that where I've had to like go under. There's a lot of stuff that I've learned over time that really helps. So I often do these things before I get there because once you're there, they're asking you a million questions and you're doing so many things going from space to space. You don't have the opportunity to do these things. The only time I do is if you go to get like an IV, whether it's at the doctor or the hospital, or I love going to those IV like hydration places too. I love doing that as a proactive measure to get like an immunity IV or a vitamin IV. I love doing those things either proactively or if I've had like kind of like a bad virus or a cold. And so and I do those things, or even like acupuncture, you have time, right? You're waiting for it to move through you and the acupuncture to be, doing its thing. So when you have that type of time, I will sit there and be in a meditation, bless the medicine, the IV bag, align it with me, download it with things, download myself with things, do any kind of healing so that the whole vibration is increasing around all of that. But in terms of procedures or surgeries, you're not often going to have those times. So I try to do a lot of it beforehand. And I will, I'll bless the space, I'll clear the space, sort of like you're energetically saging it before you get there. I will ask for the nurses, the doctors, anyone I come in contact with, that they're kind, that they're patient, that they listen to me. I will ask for like any downloads that they might need to help me, anything I might need as I'm moving through that I feel calm, that I feel grounded, that I feel safe. Especially if you are going under, you could feel like very out of control, unsafe. It's going into the unknown. Also, like, depending on what that's for, like what's going to be the outcome of these tests or what they're going to find or what they're going to do, how am I going to feel afterwards? There's so much around that. So then I like to give myself the things that can help me move through that in the best way. And doing that beforehand is really helpful. And then if you can afterwards, like doing anything else that you need. And then also asking for the nurses and the doctors to have support, to be in their best headspace, that if they need to make a decision in the moment, they make the wisest decision for my highest and best. So I try to navigate like all of those different things, moving through kind of the whole process. So that way when I get there, I feel calmer because it is nerve-wracking. And also like any medications that they're going to give you before, during, and after, or like we were talking about, like the IVs, that they are aligned with your energy, that they're going to give you what you need in the highest and best way without side effects or any issues. So doing those types of things to really intentionally bring that energy into the space. And so I just try to like navigate any of those types of things and do all I can before I, get there. So for this episode, we're talking about blessing and clearing space for the medical procedures, and I was talking about IVs, and then I remembered that we had this potential um, advertiser that was that owns their own IV place. And I was like, oh, this would be so perfect. So it's really great that we can do this commercial for this episode. And so I'm really happy because I love the concept of this. I myself get IVs for like immunity in advance, just on a regular basis. But then like, especially if you do get a cold or something, it's really helpful. They have so many different options. So I'm so happy to do this ad for this specific company. They are in North Carolina. So I want to tell you guys about them. So this episode is brought to you by Glow IV Spa, Charlotte, North Carolina's luxury mobile IV service. From energy boosting vitamin drips to powerful wellness shots like B12, glutathione, taurine, Glow IV brings hydration and healing straight to your door at your home, your office. Every session includes a free wellness consultation and their signature Inner Glow IV experience, which even uses crystals, energy to enhance vitality. Book your drip today at glowivspa.com and follow at Glow IV Spa to stay connected with Glow. And I love the concept of this because, like this experience they have, Enter Glow IV, using the crystals to enhance the IV. You're just bringing together all aspects of health, right? Like energetic with this medical aspect to help you in all ways. And I just think that's the best. I wish more of that could happen in the world. So that's why I really love the concept of this company. And the next time I go to North Carolina, I will be getting an IV from them. So yeah, the info will be in our bio. Also, protection. So if you are in general doing protection for sure, but definitely if you're going to be under anesthesia, really doing protection, right? Like however that looks for you, if it's asking Source to put a protection around you, crystals, calling in your angels, whatever it is, because energetically you are like not going to be able to do your usual things, right? So really navigating all of that beforehand. Then, you get there, and then I'll just, if I can, check in with myself. If, there's a moment where I can see, like, do I need anything else? But often there isn't the space for that. And then afterwards, clearing yourself because you've been through something, your body's been through something. So then clearing any cords of connection that you may have made to the space or the people, releasing those, bringing in, clearing. Also, there's this theory that when your energy is kind of open in that way, you could like take on energies in the room that those people may have brought, or not necessarily brought because you would have cleared it hopefully beforehand. But if they're talking about something stressful, you might take on that energy. So clearing any of that, so that you don't have that on you, right, and around you. And then there was something else I was thinking of before I said that. Oh, so then you're healing, right? Like whatever they did, if they made an incision or, however the procedure goes or the surgery goes, bringing healing to those spaces, right? So if it was like you had a biopsy taken, going into those spaces and doing healing for that area. If you had, them like putting in some, like a camera looking at something, just making sure that all of those spaces are receiving like a little bit of extra love and healing, whatever it is to help your healing process. And then anything that you need too, like how was it for you? How are you feeling? Do you need to navigate anything? Give yourself extra support. So I kind of go through that whole thing. And so before the procedure I had this week, I was like, oh, I can talk about this on the podcast. That's great. And I was like, but I don't really have like any stories, like how I usually share stories with you all of past times, like something happened, because like I said, I'm so fortunate. I've only really had like the very minimal things where I've been under anesthesia. And so I was like, I can't really think of anything. Like I've had clients tell me, oh, I had this like long procedure and I was like traveling through like a mushroom land where there's mushroom people. And I would love that if that could happen. But this was such a brief moment that nothing really came of it. But beforehand, I was like, well, maybe something will happen. And some little tiny things did happen right at the end because, like I said, it was a very brief thing. So they were just, it was like drop in, come right back out. And so right as I was coming out of it, they call your name to like kind of get you back. Right before that, I was standing at a sink in the hospital. And instead of water coming out of the sink, it was smoke, like if you were burning like cedar or sage, like a ton of it. And that was what was coming out of the faucet. And I saw myself from like a side perspective. So I was looking at myself doing this standing, and I was taking like if you were taking water and like splashing it on your face, but I was taking the smoke and like pouring it over my head over and over again. And how I would take that is like, the procedure must have ended and I was clearing everything, but also because it's for my health, I also was probably doing some healing myself on other planes, maybe, where I was, clearing for my health as well, clearing my body from with this. So I thought that was so cool. And what was funny is I forgot about that until I was falling asleep. So I think I was out of it by like 1 p.m. And it wasn't until like 11 at night, I was taking a shower. And then I was like, oh, like the sink kind of like I was like, something about this. And then I went to sleep. And like right before I fell asleep, I remembered it. And I was like, oh, that was so cool. Because what I had remembered was what happened after that. And I saw all the animals I've ever known in all my lifetimes. And that's happened to me before in some plant medicine ceremonies. And the first time it ever happened, I saw like different animals that I owned and different animals that were my like familiars and my guardians and friends. And the first time that ever happened, I saw them and I just started crying because it was like I forgot about them in this life. And so then to remember them and see them was like this, like, oh, there you are. Oh my gosh, I missed you so much. And I was like hugging them, and they were like a panther, and I'm just like laying there hugging them. And so that's come up a few times in plant medicine ceremonies. So in this, as I'm coming kind of like out of it, I saw all of them again and I said, oh, my animals, there's my animals. And I was just like looking at all of them standing there facing me, and it just felt so loving, like they were protecting me and they were sending me love and telling me they're with me. And I got to visit with them for like that millisecond. And it was just really lovely. And then right after that, I heard, hi, I'm Stacy. Tell her I say hi. It's Stacy. And I was like, what? And I was like, okay, this isn't for me. And so I'm literally like opening my eyes, and all the people that were in the room were like leaving, except for this new person that I hadn't met yet. And I had this moment like, am I going to say this? Because when people come out of procedures, they're so loopy that like no one's going to believe anything you say, because you're going to say you're like, you know, the Queen of England and you're going to do all these crazy things. So I'm feeling like very solid in that I'm awake and I'm fine. I didn't feel loopy at all, and I wasn't. But I thought like, oh, they're going to think I am. So like it's hard for me to not say something, right? Because if someone needs to hear this, I want to say it. So I just did. And I was like, oh God, who knows what's going to happen here. So I just said, do you know someone named Stacy? And this poor girl, she was like, what? And I said, oh, sometimes I just was like minimizing it because I was like, oh, this sounds so crazy in this moment. And I just said, sometimes stuff comes through for me. So I just like tell her, hi, it's Stacy. And then I was like, somebody named Stacy is like here. And they just said to say hi to, I don't know if it's you or someone else. And she goes, no, I believe you. And I was like, oh, good. I'm like, because I know it could sound crazy. And she goes, no, I totally believe you. She goes, I don't know a Stacy. I did know a Stacy when I was younger. And I said, well, maybe it's them. They're already gone. It was very fleeting. And she goes, maybe it was somebody else in the room because they all walked out right before you said that. And I said, maybe, I don't know. I can't, it's gone. So I have no way to like confirm it. But it was funny to me because it was so like you know how that is. If you've ever had like your wisdom teeth out and you're all loopy after, and you've seen those videos of people just saying the nuttiest things. So like, I was like, this is not the moment, but I did it anyways. And who knows what will come of it. But so those are my little stories to tell you because they just happened. But the smoke one, the cleansing was really beautiful, and the animals was really beautiful. So I'm actually so grateful that this came up, and I was going to be able to share those moments with you and experience that. It was really lovely. Um, and the night before, like any type of procedure you're going to have, you feel like a little bit anxious. And my sister had texted me that she found a ladybug in her house in the bathroom. And for me, if you watch the previous episodes, we've talked about signs from loved ones. And for me, that's like a really important sign of support from a loved one who's crossed over and comes as ladybug to celebrations, milestones, moments of needing support. So that was another kind of like moment where I was like, okay, yeah, like everything's going to be great. And it was. So I thought for us for today, for our meditation, if you've ever had a procedure or surgery, we could do like some clearing of that for you. To, just help release anything that may have come with that. And if you haven't, lucky for you, I'm so glad for you. If you've ever had like a dental procedure or a dermatology, just anything, any kind of moment with a practitioner that you feel like needs clearing, we could do that now. So if you would like to join me, go ahead and just be comfortable and take a deep breath in and exhale. And just connecting with your heart, in that loving space. And just bring to your mind that time of the procedure or surgery or doctor's visit, whatever it is. And just sense any emotions that you were going through at that time, whether it was anxiousness or nervousness, just anything unsettled. And let's just be in touch with those feelings that you were feeling so that we can give love to them. And as they're coming up, we just witness them and see them. And just imagine sending them love or a healing light so that they can transmute within you to a love vibration. And then we're going to ask that any cords that you may have with a doctor, nurses, assistants, anyone a part of that, can be released from you and sent to the light. And just watching that happen, however that looks for you. And we're going to ask that any energies that may have connected with you, attached to you from that, be sent to the light. And then any areas that were affected from this appointment or procedure, to send love and healing to those areas in your body. Even if this was a long time ago and it's healed, just send it to those spaces and anywhere else that you might need healing right now. Just observing what that healing looks like, however it's showing up. And if you've ever had, which I know everyone has, a frustrating experience with a medical practitioner, just releasing that connection between you and that person, sending that to the light, sending the frustration, the sadness, all to the light. and calling in for you that all practitioners that you interact with be in alignment with you and hear you, work with you as a team. And just one last time, bringing that healing light, that healing feeling into your body, moving through your whole body, surrounding you. And when you're ready, just wiggling your fingers and toes. And starting to open your eyes. Just wanted to show you all, since we're filming differently, like they're still here. um, yeah, thank you for doing that with me. That was really great. So, as always, we like to end with asking the void a question. And I'm hoping I didn't ask this question before, but Void, are you a fan of pineapple on pizza? And did we ask you that before? Well, we're in opposition. And if you aren't, as a listener, don't hate me, but I like it. I saw that there's like a meme one time and it was like, it was an old movie, like a real Italian movie, and it was like a guy being like tackled, and they put like, because he wanted pineapple on a pizza. Uh, sorry, I like it. Thank you so much for being here today, healer, and I just really appreciate you. And oh, I just wanted to say really quickly, I had a couple people reach out about the episode where we talked about signs from your loved ones and starting a conversation as a medium for yourself. And I've received some beautiful messages from you all about like connecting with loved ones that really were strong conversations, or they sent you like an energy of love, or asked you a question, or gave you some guidance. And it was just really beautiful. So please keep sending me those. I love anything from you all. And I'm just so happy that you're finding more encouragement uh, with these episodes. So thank you so much. Um, yeah, so thank you, healer. And I know our paths will cross again.